Good morning, lovely people, and welcome to the weekend preview. It's absolutely freezing, so I hope everyone's warmed up. I don't know how you got a t-shirt on, by the way.
I just like the top, so I thought I need to showcase this.
It's
I'm going to freeze to death
freezing.
for it. Yeah, 100%.
I'm wrapped up.
It's not that bad actually in here. I don't think.
No, it's okay, but I've literally been in here 10 minutes and I still haven't warmed up yet. The nose is still dripping and everything. Anyway, morning, guys.
Morning.
Yeah.
Morning. While Robbie is sunning it up in Qatar, we're just all stuck here. Nicky, Matisse, and James join us this morning for weekend preview. Despite there not being that many games, there has been quite a lot of talking points.
Yeah.
Starting with, I'm going to run through some of the results from the FA Cup replays.
I'll leave now.
We've got Wolves. They beat Brentford 3-2. Birmingham City beat Hull 2-1. Sorry, Bolton 1, Luton Town 2, which is huge for Luton. Bristol City 1. West Ham United 0, and Newport beat Eastleigh 3-1 as well. And then just looking at yesterday as well, Everton beat Crystal Palace 1-0, Bristol Rovers 1, Norwich 3, and Nottingham Forest beat Blackpool 3-2. So Nick, I feel like we have to kind of start with West Ham. I looked at your team. I felt there was enough there to beat a 14th place Bristol City.
I've been a West Ham fan for many, many years. That result did not surprise me whatsoever. You can go back to the first leg when we got drawn out against them. I said, this is a banana skin. This is a banana skin. I just know it. Outside of our first 11, we're not a good football team. We lose any of our first 11, we're not a good football team. We've lost all of our attacking players. We've lost Antonio, we lost Paquetá, we lost Kudus, we lost Bowen. We just become...
But Ben Rama should be good enough.
No, he's not good enough.
He's not good enough. He was the championship name on.
The only kick he had is the kick he had at the geezer.
And Cornet as well was really good at Burnley.
Cornet. You also had Danny Ings. You also had James Ward-Prowse. So I agree with you that it's not probably your...
strongest.
It's not your strongest, but that should be Bristol City.
Okay, right. So there's questions about my position on Moyes, right?
I assume you're out this week.
You've always questioned my position on Moyes. So, and I've never been in and out. I'm neutral with him. Yeah, I was strongly out, but I've come to realise that we have to accept it. Yeah, but this is the reason that I don't want Moyes there, because he cannot manage. He cannot manage players. They've got players there that should be good enough. Ben Rama, Danny Ings, Cornet. But they've been so badly mistreated that they get put into the side, and there's no passion.
Gumption.
No gumption, no passion from them, no willingness to sort of try hard for the manager. I've seen it myself, and players that have left the club are saying, if you're not in his plans and you're not in his sort of like first 11, he just basically ignores you. Yeah. Until he needs you. Until he needs you, yeah. And that is the problem. Like when you look at a Brighton or someone like that, when they had, all of these players, even Tottenham when they had all of their players out, you've got players there that are obviously galvanised by the manager, that have felt welcome, that felt like you get your chance. And that's what he does not. He cannot do that. He cannot do it. And then you see these players when they come in, they're ignored to the point where, as soon as he needs them, they think, well, what am I trying for? Because I know, for instance, if I have a good game today, if Paquetá's back next week, I won't be playing.
But there is an argument that happens with every squad. I mean, every manager has their first 11, and then that's what you have a squad for. So for rotation or squad depth, or if players are away at AFCON, etc. So as a player who's maybe not a first choice player, would you not think this is the January transfer window? I'm going to put in 110% effort into that game where I'm getting this opportunity, because maybe that's the difference of me getting a move or not.
Sometimes it's not an effort thing. Sorry to make an Arsenal thing, but I don't think Arteta's far off that sometimes. When he needs to go deeper in the squad beyond the 13 he trusts, the players don't. Let's look at Trossard recently. Only a year ago we signed him, and actually I think for 6 months everyone, what a signing. 27 million, he's doing the job, he can play false nine, midfield, out on the left, whatever. More recently, you're not getting impact off the bench. I don't believe he's not trying, I don't believe he's not having a go, and I also don't believe he's a talentless player who's actually showing his true colours. I believe that Arteta's been so reluctant to use him at times, certainly to use him where I believe he's best in the false nine, that when coming in, sometimes players can just look out of sorts. They haven't picked up the rhythm and momentum that other players, so sometimes it's not even about keeping them motivated or happy, it's just you need minutes. So when I look at De Zerbi, right, no manager rotates his 11 more than him. But then do you get much different from Brighton? Even when they lose 6-1, they're trying to do the same things and the players are doing the same. Now, whether that is a good or bad thing, I don't know. Maybe you do need far more consistency than De Zerbi shows. But I do think there are certain managers that struggle to get that balance between rotation and actually going, all right, I know you don't disrespect any opposition, but I'm playing at home against 18th. Maybe I can actually bring a few players. Arteta did it once against Sheffield United. Otherwise, he's quite reluctant to mix things up. So I think that might be a similar thing with Moyes.
But maybe that's because of how important, obviously, the league is, because you don't want to be that complacent. And this is the thing with the cup games. So when you do make that many changes and you want to incorporate players that don't play all the time, managers are then called out for changing the squad too much. Yeah. They're called out for saying, well, you're not taking it seriously because you're not playing your starting 11. So then that's a little bit of backlash on the manager as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword being a manager and trying to rotate your team, because the fans want wins. That's all they care about. And if they lose, whether you rotated the team or you didn't, they're going to kill you for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You got to balance it with what you're up against. When you get to a Bristol City, and this is ultimately what's caused the problems. Paquetá's coming back from an injury. You don't want him playing in a game against Bristol City. No way. You should have enough past Paquetá to be able to get past someone like Bristol City. But he plays him. There's no faith in Ben Rama. There's no faith in Cornet. There's no faith in Ings. He plays him. He gets injured. Carries on with Bowen. Bowen, played the whole game. Should not be playing a game against Bristol City for a whole game. Gets injured. Yeah. It's just like the approach you have to take in these games is, they're going to come fully committed. They're going to put their foot in. Yeah. They're going to rough you up a little bit. You don't want them players being exposed to that.
So tell me if I'm wrong. Ben Rama was a starter last season? Was he?
Last season he was a starter.
But this is what I find fascinating about managers. Not in a good way. It's like, if he was a favourite last year, why the reluctance to use him this year? Now, I'm commenting from a distance on West Ham. I'm just taking what you said. So again, I apply it to Arteta and Arsenal. This is the West Ham section, but there's comparisons. Smith Rowe, given the new contract, the 10, you barely see him now. And you think Tierney was like the only way we could attack 2-3 years ago, goes on loan to Sociedad. I don't know what it is about managers, and applying it to David Moyes here. They seem like so set in their ways until they're not. And then there's a total reluctance to go back. And I find it interesting that managers can kind of flip on their ideals like that.
Well, I think it's more to do with the attitude of a player.
Maybe, yeah.
Personally,
yeah.
I do. Like, it's slightly different because, again, he hasn't really played for us. But someone like Jed Spence, really promising, had a brilliant season with Forest. Obviously lots of people interested, wanting to sign him. And then Tottenham signed him. You think, what an amazing coup. Doesn't work out under Antonio Conte, doesn't see a minute, and comes in. You think, okay, well, he'll probably get a fresh start in this, attacking fullback, exactly what you'd want. But then again, there's something to do with the attitude where he's sent straight back out on loan. That loan hasn't worked at Leeds. He's been recalled, and then now he's had to go on another loan to Genoa. So I think it's to do with the attitude and the personality sometimes, rather than to do with the footballing ability. Because if you think about it, you've got a squad, right? So if the balance isn't right, or if you feel that 10 out of 11 are pulling in the right direction, you need 11 men. You can see that whether you go down to 9 men against another team, or you can see that, for example, when you've had Messi, Ronaldo and Neymar, Mbappe in the same team. You can have all these amazing players, but if you're not all pulling in the same direction, you can't afford to have that. So I do think managers, like you said, he doesn't want to play, or he wants to play because he wants to play Bowen. He needs to play them, because maybe that level and the drop off, as you see the other night against Bristol, it's a big drop off, and that goes down to the squad and the players that you've brought in.
I don't think the players that we brought in, that there should be that much of a drop off. It's attitude. It's discontent, and outside that first 11, there's a lot of that. Outside that first 11 of ours, we're relegation fodder. We can't pass a football for 5 yards. We can't. Honestly, you watch Danny Ings.
You had a young striker that won an FA Youth Cup, didn't you? And he was in the first team.
He's not ready.
Not ready.
He's not ready. Yeah, he's not ready. He's not quite ready. He's not quite there yet. But these players should have been given minutes and been trusted in games where they're wanted rather than needed. And I think it's all about the attitude.
Can I ask a very condescending question? Don't hate me, West Ham fans. Well, winning the Conference League, obviously a massive thing. Has that eased the frustrations in maybe domestic cups this season? Because maybe it's about the league form more. I know football's about winning trophies, but I'm just wondering where West Ham fans place importance. You've got the Europa League still. I think West Ham have every chance. I know there's obviously Liverpool still in that. You've got, a real shout for top 6, top 7, and maybe better, in the Premier League. So where do the cups rank this season compared to maybe previous seasons?
I think we should be going for every cup.
Yeah.
And I think every fan should. But listen, this result, I've been a West Ham fan for 40 years.
Yeah.
These are not anomalies. We haven't had one in a little while because we normally get drawn against one of the top 6. But these are not anomalies. We've seen this. I've seen us go out to Wrexham. I've seen us go out to Cardiff. I've seen us go out all sorts of Birmingham City a couple of years ago. Yeah. They're not anomalies. It happens. We just have to.
I will say though, West Ham are 6th in the league with a game in hand, and if they win this weekend against Sheffield United, they'll be on 37 points, 3 points behind Arsenal.
Well, this is telling.
Or 3 points behind Tottenham.
This is telling. This period is telling now because we've lost our talisman, all of them. They're all gone.
Obviously, Kudus is off as well at the minute.
He might be coming home. I don't know how they got on last night, but tonight, isn't it?
Yeah,
the AFCON. I think if they lose, he's home. So
unreal.
Unbelievable. But this period is telling because we've got some tough games. I don't know how long. Well, I don't think anybody knows how long the injuries will last. But we've got Sheffield United, which is you've got to be. A couple of weeks ago we'd have been putting it down as 3 points. But now you can't do that. You've got to go there. You've got to battle. You've got to see what they're made of. But then we've got the likes of Arsenal coming up. Manchester United again, teams like that. So this is a telling period. If we can kick through this unscathed, I'll believe. But we could drop like a stone in this period.
Reece Nelson, 25 million.
I'll take you for 25 million at the minute, mate.
That's a bargain to get James 25 mil.
I'm kicking Ward-Prowse out of the team though.
You take a free kick?
No.
Let's see what the Superchats are saying. Black Wolf says Matisse and Nicky, he won some money against West Ham and Chelsea. I assume that was probably against Bristol and Borough.
Maybe
the first leg.
Well done.
Yeah,
smart money.
Klara Bitsy is in the house with a gorgeous super chat. Thank you very much for the donation. She said it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Klara. She couldn't help but be nasty to me. This super chat is towards a small contribution for DR to get my bestie Abbi a cake or her favourite Starbucks coffee for her upcoming birthday. We all know she does not celebrate any trophies. At least we can celebrate.
Wow. Still as ruthless as ever. Doesn't wait around at all.
You can have that one today. I'll let you have it because it's your birthday. Apple Tree says, Abbi, do I think that Arsenal will finish above Liverpool? No, I do not. I think Liverpool will finish second. I actually think I had you to finish second though, initially in my predictions. And you've
changed your mind?
I've changed my mind.
Flip-flop.
Just change my mind, just take it what I see.
I've changed my mind too.
North London is red, said, Matisse, stop bringing your guns to the show. Yummy.
Loud.
You're getting a lot of love lately. A lot of love.
Yeah, we don't play for 10. Well, it's been 10 days without a game, so I'm just enjoying the breaks.
Just flexing the muscles, yeah.
Enjoying the time off.
Okay, let's have a look at the weekend because there are teams that are in action. Arsenal being one of them. They take on Crystal Palace. Brentford against Forest. Ivan Toney, a long-awaited return. Will we actually see him though? Sheffield United, West Ham is on Sunday. Bournemouth, Liverpool. We've got bumper week. Monday, Brighton, Wolves, Chelsea, Middlesbrough, EFL Cup. That's on my birthday, so come on the Borough. And Wednesday, it's Fulham against Liverpool in the Cup as well. Let's talk about Arsenal. It's 1 win in 7. Is that correct, James?
I don't know. I don't look at the stats.
Not that we're keeping track.
You don't look at the stats?
Yeah, right.
Look at them for a living.
I swear, you're a stat man, though.
Yeah. No, not really. No.
You've changed.
You've changed since last season.
Anyway,
it's 1 win in 7. Things have not been particularly rosy from an Arsenal standpoint. Obviously, you were lonely at the top on Christmas Day, and you are now just chilling on joint points with Spurs. Big weekend.
Played again.
Very, very big weekend ahead. I mean, you are at home. Palace coming off the back of a defeat midweek as well. Roy Hodgson getting quite a bit of criticism for subbing Eze off as well early doors. How are you feeling going into this game?
How should I be feeling? Look, I am. The hope is back because that's what 10 days away from football can do. Sometimes you need to be away from the game to regain your hope rather than, a lot of people were saying post the Liverpool defeat, don't you just wish we had another game so we can get this out of our system? Said that after West Ham, said that after Fulham. Arsenal do this thing under Arteta where the bad results, they come in waves. Whether it's Palace away, Brighton at home, and Southampton away in the Champions League top 4 run-in, whether it was last season with Southampton at home, West Ham away, Liverpool. They just come in blocks.
Yeah.
So they've taken some nice warm weather training out in Dubai. Good on them. Sounds nice for some. But you know what? Fine. Like, they've come a long way in the last few years. Go recuperate, get your energy back, get back on that pitch. Timber kicking a ball, which is nice to see. I still think we're a month plus away from him playing, and maybe that's very hopeful. Jesus back on the field, which is great. Hopefully Zinchenko's okay. And they just need to respond. And by respond, I don't mean scrape over the line against Palace. With all due respect, you don't disrespect any 3 points in the Premier League. But Arsenal need to come out and flex their muscles a little bit. I watched this show, people. Fans are having rival fans are having too much fun with Arsenal. And I understand it. I get it. Because, listen, we haven't actually played as well as last season. The trajectory hasn't been the way we wanted. But not all is lost. I was really disappointed by the cup exits. They were so disappointing. But, and now make an excuse for the team, which I didn't, post these results. You can lose at West Ham, you can lose to Liverpool. Like, you need to just chalk it off and not redefine what this team is. I'm talking about internally at the club. Everyone needs to just regroup, get a big win, try to put 3-4 wins on the spin, and before you know it, you're in touching distance City, you're in touching distance to Liverpool, and things look very different.
Well, I'm just looking at your fixtures coming up. So, I mean, they're all very favourable, to be honest with you, at the minute. Bar kind of.
We said that before.
Yeah, they are. And obviously, like you said, every game is different in the Premier League, and that's what we love about it. But we've got Arsenal against Palace this weekend, and you're away to Forest, which, I'll be honest, is a tougher prospect now, I guess, with Nuno. And what he's doing there. Then you are at home to Liverpool, away to West Ham, which is a tough game. But then you've also got Burnley away before Porto mid-Feb. So if you look at that, you would think that Arsenal would take a fair amount of points out of those fixtures.
You're hopeful of a run. Now you got to earn it, and they're good teams in their own right. But you're hopeful of a run. You're hopeful because Arsenal now need to put that together. We always hear, well, Liverpool, City, this time of the year, they know how to get it together and put those 5 to 10 games on the spin. We need to do something that makes City and Liverpool sweat a little bit because, we did the heart. We went to Anfield. We got the point. I thought we were so worthy of it. And we respond with 2 defeats in the league. Now, that can, and then we have a Liverpool at home, and we played well enough that first half. We end up losing that. So they just need to dust themselves off, regroup, and put in a performance against Palace that makes you, as fans, just sit there and go, okay, like they've clicked again. They're back in gear. They're building that momentum again. Because there's nothing else to focus. It's the Champions League and the Premier League. Every game now is crucial. There isn't, when you go into those kind of early rounds of the Cup, and I respect every competition, by the way, even the Community Shield, and I'm celebrating those, right?
Yeah.
But, you kind of, you don't have that same nerves and tension maybe before a third round Cup game. Yeah. It's just the nature of the pecking order of the competitions. But there's none of that now. Every game now is big stuff. 2 months, give it your all, then international break, and then 2 months again.
Well, this is crunch time, really.
Are you confident?
Am I confident?
Because I mean, not of the win, but what is the fear for this season? Because you've gone from the heights you did, and this is where I was coming from last season. I got a lot of stick online for questioning the longevity of Arsenal. And I've got no doubt that you're going in the right direction, and I've got no doubt whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think you're buying the right players, but there is this sort of question mark against what happens if, you know what I mean? Like, because when I was talking to fans, I said, look, and I said this, and this is why we had the discussion at the beginning of the season. Why am I supposed to be convinced by one good season? Because I've listed all the other positions you've finished in the past few years, and they say, well, all it needs is this. It's not as easy as that, because when you go into the season, you're banking on every single player being exactly the same. You're banking on 20 goals from Martinelli. You're banking on 20 goals from Saka. Any drops in form or injuries or anything like that. That is why Arsenal fans, I think, can get a bit carried away, because if we've done it this year, we're going to do it next year. And then if we had this, it's not as easy
I
as
think
that.
it's the overexcitement of what happened last season. And don't get me wrong, when Spurs have been in that position before, I mean, not that we ever really say we were going to win the league, but when you've been in that and you're at that height and you've gone from being 8th, or just missing out on top 4 to then suddenly leading the charge, you think you're going to win a league. And, that I get the excitement. I do get it. But I do think that if Mikel Arteta, let's say you don't win the league this year, and I think the odds, I'm not ruling it out, but obviously I'd say the odds are slimmer, because of the resurgence of Liverpool again, their rebuild, and City will be City. I think you do have to ask questions of Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, 100% you do. So you said what if? So what's the what if we don't win?
What happens if you drop out? Like, let's be honest, we're at game day 21, 22.
Yeah.
22.
You're on the brink of dropping out the top 4. Not just dropping out the title race, dropping out the top 4.
They're on point. They're on the same points as Spurs. It's just.
So what happens if the worst comes to the worst? The next 3 or 4 fixtures, you're expected to get 10 points. You end up with 2. And then you end up. So what happens in that?
The worst case is maybe them coming out of the Champions League to Porto and finishing the season in 5th, and that doesn't get Champions League.
Yeah. So what happens? Is it still?
He has to be sacked.
Okay. So my.
And I'm only playing devil's advocate.
But they're fair questions. They're questions we're having within the fan base. What I don't understand is when people get onto rival fans for bringing up questions that we are asking ourselves. So you're right. There's 2 what ifs here. What if we don't win one of the last 2 we're in? Haven't done one for 20 years. Haven't done one ever. Then that you go to context. Were we competitive? How did we get knocked out of the Champions League? Who have we lost out to? I can't be mad at a team losing the title by 5 points to City. It can happen. But
you have spent a lot of money. I agree. I think Arsenal actually don't get, and this is not me saying it because I'm a Spurs fan. I've said it to Chelsea a million times and called United out on it. You've spent a lot of money, Arsenal, and I think that goes under the radar.
It does, but then we have to. I don't.
I agree.
I can't use that against Arsenal because we have to spend money. I don't.
Yeah, to be able to be able to compete, but you spent.
City spend more than us this summer.
But they're Manchester City. They can spend.
Yeah, so they won the treble and spent more. So
but they did.
They won the treble, and equally this year they'll probably win something, whether it's the Premier League or retain the Champions League or a cup. They will win something without a doubt. You always bet your house that City will win something season in, season out. So if you have to look at it, you think of what Arsenal has spent come the end of the season, and you finish again trophyless.
Well, when we reflect on the season, if we're knocked out by Real Madrid at the semi-finals of the Champions League and we become second to City, even third, but we're within 5 points, I'm not losing my head over those. I'm losing my head over the cup exits. Another good performance, fall out an early round. Away at West Ham, over-rotate. Actually thought our first half we played okay, but we go behind, we fall out 3-0 down, with an hour gone. I'll look more at those and go, I can't get mad at the very highest level where the percentages matter, and City bring on De Bruyne, who just does things no other midfielder I've ever seen does do in the league. I can't get too mad at that, but I can get mad at the other things, the early exits. That's why if you look at my fan cam on AFTV when we got knocked out to Liverpool, I was really frustrated, and people took that as me almost throwing the season away, and that as me manifesting my feelings about 3 defeats in a row. It was looking back at all the other cup exits. I kind of separated them from the league form. In terms of the what if we drop out the top 4,
disaster,
big trouble,
disaster. You can't spend 230 million after coming second in the league to fall out the top 4. That would be awful. The thing is,
what were you putting on, Michael? What's going on?
What have you spent?
We're going to get to him.
We're not playing this weekend, please.
You're playing next week. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about next week.
The final thing I'll say on all this and the Arteta stuff and the what ifs and all that is he's allowed to make a mistake, and if Havertz was just a big mistake or the Raya was a big mistake, fine. Money's been wasted for many teams en route to success. Yeah. So you can look past that. Maybe it's tied us down a little bit in what we can do in January, but hopefully by the summer that's not the case. You readdress things. I think the bigger what if with Arteta is you've got to keep looking for signs of progress. And I know that some of you might think I'm just being delusional Arsenal fan, but in that run of 7 you mentioned, I see us play really well against Liverpool. I see us play well at Villa Park. We didn't deserve to lose that game. The West Ham game, you guys did well, deserving of the win. I also thought if we won that game, I don't think people would begrudge Arsenal that for the performance we put in. sometimes you just got to look at the end of the season and go, well, have we, even if the points tally is not as good as last season, even if we're third but not second, have we seen signs of improvement? Do we believe that Arteta, who we've got, is a better candidate to improve on whoever else we could get? Maybe not. I always say when everyone talks about the process, they attach that to Arteta. A good process should be within the club and regardless of Arteta. So if Arteta ends up not being the guy because you need to go that step forward, then have you got the succession plan to then go that step forward? So that for me is all part of it, and it's just all part of the journey without sounding too
It's sounding
cringe.
very much like Arsenal fans are okay with not winning anything.
Oh, here we go.
It's sounding quite Spursy to me. I've got to say.
It's all a journey.
Yeah.
And
it's about the friends you make along the way.
Yeah, you're sounding very Spursy, James.
We are just biding our time.
Spursy.
We're biding our time. We are just... No, look. Being serious, I was furious about the cup exit. Go back and watch that fan cam. Everyone was calling me the toxic, negative fan. I never get called that, right? And, I get called the opposite. Delusional, positive, all that. It was bad. But I'm yet to see more in the league because I don't think we've played that badly this season. We're not as good as last season, but I don't think we've played badly for us to think it's a crisis in the league at the moment. But obviously it's overcoming a hurdle we haven't overcome yet for a long time.
We will be there. We will be there.
I know you will. And I will be here if
we will be there.
If I choose to be. if I choose not to, I will stay on AFTV and not show my face.
We will be down there. That's fine.
I might be off that day.
Right, let's go through some super chats. Sean Hurt says, Abbi, 2 words, and Carabao, it still stings. Sure. I mean, it was quite a while ago we went out of the Carabao, to be fair.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it, to Fulham?
Yeah.
Long day.
It happens, man. It happens.
It was a long day. That was a pure example, actually, when we went out to Fulham, of trying
trust your second 11.
Trying the second string.
Yeah.
But again, it was one of Andrew's first games, so he wanted to see what he had. Marlon said, James, by now Arteta has fully digested the meat delicately put into his mouth by Salt Bay. Do you think he's reinvigorated now for the rest of the season?
Well,
hopefully.
He should feel stronger.
Should feel. Lots of that 24 carat meat.
Hopefully.
Klara, she has sent 2 because she said, Nicky, Jarabone is out of contract in the summer. Which club do you see him being the right fit for? She's then corrected herself and said, my bad, it was a 7-year deal.
Yes,
I love
definitely was.
Jarabone, though.
He ain't going anywhere,
No,
man.
he's not
That's
going
it.
anywhere. I wish he was.
And when he
I'd
does,
love
it'll be another 100 million plus.
him. Oh, I'd love him. I'd absolutely love him.
Liverpool, all over.
I don't think
Yeah.
he'll leave because
Yeah.
I don't think he'll leave
Liverpool,
because I think the teams that can afford him will buy players in his position and then they'll be sorted.
He's not going to leave anytime soon.
No.
Tyler Southampton's for 7-year deal.
Yeah, exactly. What is he, 20?
Klopp's already been flitting his eyelids.
He's 28?
Yeah, but they're not going to spend
26,
that. They're not going to
25.
spend that money on Jarabone. It's just not going to happen. Black Wolf also said, please don't disrespect Cape Verde during AFCON.
Yeah,
No, I didn't.
Who did they beat?
Ghana.
They're playing.
Yeah.
Are they playing Ghana?
He's
They
27.
played Ghana.
they
They
play
beat
Ghana.
him
There
already.
we go. And Massim says AGT is looking gorgeous today. He's glowing. Is that meant to be me?
No,
you?
it's
I don't
definitely.
know.
I think it's meant to be James.
Is it meant to be James?
don't
You're
know.
definitely an upgrade. You're an upgrade. Right, let's look at the other fixtures. Brentford Forest, Ivan Toney, whether or not he's playing or not, he's back in the fold after an 8-month ban. There's all this talk, obviously, he's flirting with Arsenal, flirting with Chelsea, £100 million price tag been put on there.
Yeah.
Ivan Toney, why not just go and say, here's 120 million, because to be fair, you did spend that on Enzo and spent a lot of money. Why not just go and get him? He could be the problem solver to all of your issues.
I don't believe in just because you spent, say, 72 million on Højlund or 70 million on Mudryk that you should justify spending X amount on someone else. Like, it needs to make sense in the moment. If it doesn't, then no. So spend 100 million on Toney right now doesn't make any sense. I think his comments have been a bit disrespectful to Brentford.
Agreed.
I think they've been paying his wages throughout this ban. I'm pretty sure Thomas Frank gave him a massive backing and support in front of the entire
crowd,
stadium, GTEC Community Stadium, at the end of last season. And his team's in a relegation battle. And to see comments that, I think he could have put it better. I think a lot of people are like, oh, but, why don't we like the transparency? He wants to move to a bigger club. It's the context behind it.
I think it's time and a place.
It's time and a place. If he was bagging in the goals all season, different conversation. But I think when you've been away that long and your team's in a relegation, but I think you owe it to them.
For fault of your own as well.
Yeah,
It's
and also,
his fault.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you owe it to them to stick by them to the end of the season, get them out of trouble whilst they've supported you, and then you can...
He did say that, though.
Yeah, he
did say that.
No, he kind of said in January, if someone can afford it, then maybe...
But
like, he did leave the door open a bit too much of a jar, in my opinion.
But Brentford have come out and said
but Brentford won't let him go
they
anywhere.
are absolutely not letting him go in this window.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's fast forward to the summer. £100 million.
It all depends on how he does to the end of the season. If he absolutely smashes it, then he'll be in those conversations. But for me, yeah, he's more of the mould of forward I would prefer. I like Isak as well. I steer a little bit away from Osimhen's price tag because I do feel like there's some limitations in his game that would potentially show up in the league, as great as he is. Striker market is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
It's a difficult market.
Very dangerous. But I think out of these lot, Isak is my favourite, and Newcastle apparently might have to sell potentially because of their own situation with FFP. So if I was to pick between them and Isak was the cheapest, then I'm definitely going to look more at him.
Okay. James, just quickly on Ivan Toney as well, before I go back to Chelsea. Arsenal, obviously, is spoken about. You needed a striker in the summer. You went for Kai Havertz instead. In the summer, 2024 summer, £100 million. Do you go and buy Ivan Toney?
No, not for 100 million. But I like him a lot. Like, I think he's a really good player. I think some people see him as just a bit of a target man. He's got a lot more to that. He's good on the ball, really good on the ball, range of finishes. And I'm really encouraged. I don't know if these are sort of more one-offs than his sort of true form, but when he went to the Etihad and Brentford won 2-1, and it was basically, he was the outball. Get it to him, he brings your team up the pitch. He's got so much to his game. I really rate him, but he's got a 5-month audition. He wants this big club move. He's been very honest about that. I agree. I think what made the comments perhaps disrespectful is more the timing of it. Like, the day you're back, these kind of quotes emerge. But he didn't say anything we don't know. And sometimes footballers, it's that line between, but we all knew this. So it's not that bad he said it. Yeah. It's just, maybe he didn't need to.
Didn't need to, really.
But I also knew it, so I'm not that...
His contract's running out. Like, he's not...
He's out of contract in 2025.
He's not like a Caicedo, say, last January, who had an incredible kind of year, and then he was trying to engineer a move midway, but he knew he was down to a long-term contract, so he had to kind of force it. Tony's contract runs out in 2025, doesn't it? So he's got a year left in the summer.
Isn't it?
He's got a year left in the summer. He's going to get sold.
Brentford will want to sell.
Yeah, so he doesn't go for 100 million this summer.
But that's the price tag Brentford have stuck on him.
But then but they won't. Like, as in, you can't have a £100 million asset in your eyes and walk away from 60 million when it could be a free the year
unless
after.
It becomes a bidding war.
How old is Toney? 26, 27?
27, I believe.
Like, he's not an age where people wouldn't, I don't think, be willing to wait another year, see if he does it for another year in the Premier League and then get it for free. Like, he would go for significantly less, I imagine.
Okay.
I agree.
I think flirting with clubs like that in the situation I think it's disgusting. I really do. I think it's disgusting way to act from a player that's put his club in a dangerous position because of his own inability to control himself and to follow the rules, and sit there the day you're coming back and turning around and saying, well, maybe someone will take me. I hope he falls on his ass. I really do, because I would not want a character like that at my club.
Yeah,
someone that sit there for 8 months collecting wages, watching your team suffer through your mistakes, and then sitting there flirting with other clubs. I wouldn't want him. Bad attitude.
I'm not saying
good player.
I'm not saying you're wrong, or I disagree, but I'm just I guess what I'm asking is what you basically say nothing. He should have said, listen, don't ask me. I'm here.
He owes the Brentford fans respect. That is a lack of respect, not for the owners, not for the football club, but for the people that have sat there and cheered his name, watched him come up from the Championship, watched him forge himself into a Premier League star, that's paid their season ticket to go and watch him, who ends up with an 8-month ban, and then you turn around and go, well, actually, I don't want to play her. And I think that's so disrespectful.
I think
it's one of the most disgusting things I've
against Brentford, who is it?
But it's got, and I mean this with the greatest respect, it's clubs like you that will take him, and that's why people like him get away with it. I would not have him near my club.
Soulless clubs.
I'm used to players constantly leaving us. We had that nice Emirates era, and sometimes I'm just like, I've heard Nasri say things when he's left, so maybe I'm a bit what's the word?
numb to it.
Numb to these kind of quotes.
To it. Guys, please can we get the likes up? There's nearly 3k watching. Let's get the likes up, please. I want to just quickly go back to Chelsea because Roma sacked Jose Mourinho earlier this week. I've seen a few Chelsea fans.
Many.
On the Twitter sphere, on the YouTube sphere, calling for Jose back. Poch out. I mean, that's not something that's been shocking. I mean, that's been coming on for a few weeks, but Poch out and Jose back in. Where do you stand on it?
You must employ him.
Well, my stocks are at an all-time low now when it comes to speaking about what manager I want at my club, because my fan base are right now with the torches outside my house, which is fair enough.
That's because you wanted.
But for me, I already explained my logic as to why I wanted him. We have a very young group. We're not a team that's come up against low blocks every week, and we're not in a title race. And I think that is kind of in line with what Pochettino's dealt with in the past with Southampton and Tottenham. So I don't think I was crazy for suggesting it. It's not going well. Didn't expect him to misprofile players and whatnot, but you can't see the future. With Jose Mourinho, for what it's worth, I think if you take away his history and his attachment with Chelsea and you look at the actual numbers on where he's been finishing in his last few seasons and who he's been sacked from, I don't think Chelsea fans bat an eyelid towards him. I think the only reason why they want him is because of the past, which was 10 years ago, because of the intangibles. But then when we speak about intangibles with players, i.e. Conor Gallagher, right, we're not interested. So I think there's a little bit of a hypocrisy. And I think if we're looking at people are talking about, okay, we don't want Poch because the system, or we want to have these attacking patterns and we want to break down these low blocks.
I'm not getting that with Jose.
Is that really Jose Mourinho? Like, is that really his expertise? I know he's going to bring the mentality and he's going to bring the kind of connection and whatnot, but
you must bring him.
When that fades,
do you really? Are you saying this
especially
from
with a young group?
Are you saying this from a secret agent perspective?
I think it's a great. All I'm saying is 2 Champions Leagues, a La Liga, Europa League, the Conference League. There you go. You're getting that.
Well, actually, let me just give you some stats from Roma. So before Jose took over at Roma, they were 15 years trophyless. They made it to 1 European final, 0 European trophies, and half empty stadiums. Now, despite leaving them in 8th place, they've been to 3 European finals, 1 European trophy, 40 consecutive sold-out matches, passion revived. So that would be the reason for bringing him back.
David Moyes just won a Conference League, right? Anybody interested in bringing him to their club? No. Pochettino got Tottenham to a final. Mourinho got them to a Carabao Cup final. Anybody interested? Did they win?
What I would say is, arguably, if Jose hadn't have been sacked, I'm not saying we would have won it.
I don't think he would have won it, but maybe you would have.
You would have rather have him than Ryan Mason.
My point is, people are suddenly placing a lot of importance on trophies they don't tend to respect on a day-to-day. People don't give respect to the Carabao Cup. People don't give respect to the Conference League. Now suddenly they're pushing them up through the roof and saying, "Oh, these are massive trophies." Listen, I love Jose Mourinho, so part of me because part of me is more interested in him doing well than just for my own selfish needs of, I want this kind of dopamine effect. He's not going to work with our board. He's going to clash with them. The board can't stop signing 16-year-old Brazilians. That doesn't work with Mourinho. So when we talk about lining up the board with the manager, you couldn't find a worse fit.
But you would get an instant reaction from those players, because I think that.
Yeah, but I'm not here for I'm not here for a 2-3 week reaction. I'm here for sustained success. I'm not here for 1 year of Chelsea winning a Conference League and then it all combusts when Jose Mourinho finally has enough.
And he does do that in every club he goes to.
Of the chairman, and then we're back to square one. That's not my aim. And you're smiling.
Hold on a second.
You're smiling. You're trying to stir the pot. You're not.
There's a poll, everyone. Hit the yes.
I know if there's one person on this table, actually 2, because I know Nicky hates Chelsea. If there's people that are not interested in our best interests, it's Abbi and it's probably Nicky. So don't try and stir the pot.
I have your best interest.
Don't try and stir the pot.
From a nostalgic standpoint, I think that you should get Jose back.
Of course you do.
I think that these players need someone that leads with an iron fist, someone they're scared of, someone they can respect.
Of course you do.
And Jose, regardless of what people think, people do respect him.
Conte should have gathered the respect of your Tottenham side, right? Did that work out?
I did for the first 6 months.
And what happened after that?
Yeah.
Long day.
You need someone who's proper Chelsea, someone who has managed Man United and Tottenham.
Oh my God!
Someone who has been there twice before already, and Yeah, I just think it's a wonderful appointment, actually.
2004 he walked into Chelsea.
Where do you stand on it?
20 years ago, it's an anniversary.
I would normally say no. Don't be silly. But they're in a mess. They need someone to just grasp it, even if it's a bridge signing. You know what I mean, for a little while, just to get that oomph back in.
Is that not what Lampard was last year?
Oh God, you can't put Jose and Lampard in the same category.
My thing is that everybody. No, I'm not putting them in the same category because obviously Lampard's nowhere near Jose Mourinho. But these words that we're using, we don't use them when we're actually serious about football clubs. We don't say, "Oh, you need to bring back the." Come on, what is that?
You need to grasp.
Yeah, but once that's gone,
I would say the same in Man United, right? If Alex Ferguson become available tomorrow, I would say go and get him for 6 months because he'll sort it out at least until.
And I also think United fans would take Fergie back as well.
Honestly, but I'm just saying, like sometimes you have to go back to someone that's tried and tested just to grasp it again because you're losing control.
Can I be serious? Do not get Jose Mourinho back.
I want Jose Mourinho to go international level.
Yeah.
And the Newcastle situation interests me. I just think it would be something.
He's perfectly fit for Newcastle.
Yeah, I think it would be an interesting
Newcastle
fit.
fans would hate it.
Yeah, so do I.
Absolutely
hate it. You think they'd hate it?
I think they hate the style of football.
I don't think they'd mind the style of football. If he was to bring them a Carabao Cup or a Conference League, then
he's not always played bad football, and he's had winning teams.
That's a team.
Would you take him?
That's a team similar to Roma, who have a massive fan base.
Well, I'll be okay, but then
and need a trophy,
right? But then look at what I read about Roma, fine. But in actual reality, Roma, I think, have got the worst points tally that they've ever had in their history.
Oh, so now you're giving me the stats.
Yeah, now I'm giving you real stats. They're eighth in the table. They're a point above you. So actually, if you did bring him in,
don't do this.
It would literally be like for like.
Okay, fair enough.
It would be like for like. They're on 36 points, you're on 31 points. They're in 8th, you're in 9th. So basically, you wouldn't actually be taking a step forward in terms of progress.
People are talking about the recruitment, right? He hasn't spent a lot of money because Roma don't have a lot of money, right? Which they don't. But the players that have come in have been Matic, have been Lukaku, have been Wijnaldum, have been Dybala, have been very expensive wage-wise players that are meant to be instant impact. So we can talk about
Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, I know, but we could talk about money.
Abraham back. This is perfect.
We could talk about money spent on a Mudryk, or you can talk about money spent on an instant impact that you're expecting delivery from straight away. It's not really the money; it's what you're getting. And they've gone for players that are meant to be delivering now. They haven't gone for youngsters. So
listen, you can't question his impact at Roma.
I love him.
You can't question it.
I'm absolutely
you know how I'm fighting the inner. Yeah, just do it. I'm fighting that right now because
I'll tell you what will happen. Right?
I love the guy.
They'll lose. They'll lose to Borough again Wednesday.
I won't call for him.
He will go on his YouTube channel.
He'll go for him.
Yeah.
Redemption.
Yeah.
He'll go redemption for Jose. The homecoming. I can see it. I can see the.
If anything, graphic. I love Jose Mourinho more for not wanting him than the people that want him. I'm gonna spin it.
You don't want to taint his legacy.
Facts.
That's how
people are.
I think it was already tainted when he left last time.
I was going to say,
people are willing to taint a manager's legacy and watch them drop off like crazy. I'm not willing for that. He's done everything. He doesn't need to come back here. He's already come back here once. He's won the Prem. He's won everything he needs to win. He should be. I'm not saying ride off into the sunset because he's not of that age, but I'm saying international. I'm saying do something that hasn't been done at a Newcastle, win a trophy. Like, do something that...
Tried to do it at Spurs, couldn't it?
Yeah, well, that's impossible. But, like, do something that hasn't been done. Why would you come back here when you've done everything here and tried to...
Hasn't won a Champions League with you?
He hasn't, but are we going to do that?
I don't know.
We're not even in it.
Who knows? Maybe
we're not in it.
Who knows? Next season after.
We have to be in the Champions League to win it. We're not going to be in it next year. We're not going to be in it.
Right. Anyway, that debate could go on for ages. Let's definitely keep an eye on that. Klara says, James, you better put Troop's phone on the top shelf so that he can't reach it because people will call him after he predicted 13 points out of 15.
I think we're all going to be... If Arsenal don't turn this around and actually get a string of results, I think we're all going to be let's say I've been quite hopeful on this show. I will live to regret that.
We do keep receipts as well.
Yeah, we look defeated, man.
Already? It's not that bad.
It's -2 outside.
It was -6 this morning.
Like, do you know, like, I'm free. Like, I'm not even wearing Arsenal colours. People think I've like disowned the club. I'm just freezing.
It's just cold.
I was all bunged up yesterday doing videos. I just, I need Arsenal to warm me up.
January blues. Klara also said, Matisse, the fan base already wants Carrick to park the bus so they can destroy you. So now you don't want to annoy them more with the Jose chat.
I don't think about the fan base when I give my opinions. I wanted Kante to be kind of released of his duties because of the injuries, and people hated me for it. So when it comes down to this, I'm just saying how I feel. But yeah, I see the poll. Apparently, I'm going against the grain. What can you do?
Really?
Out here,
That might be because I told them all.
I'm not sure who you're referring to, but out here says they've had so many injuries and only 5 points off fourth.
I don't think we're 5 points off
I
fourth,
don't
are
think
we?
that's you, is it?
If it is, then wow, that's crazy.
But,
You might be actually. Yeah, you might be.
You're on 31, right?
I don't
If you
think
are
we're
5
that many
points
points.
No, 40 points. Is
No,
Actually,
we're
you'll
not
be
5
on-
points off fourth.
9 points.
We're 9.
Having played a game more.
Maybe this might unite.
We're 3 points off West Ham, which is as high as I think we can think of.
Okay, right, let's rattle through the rest of these. Sheffield against West Ham. Away, does that put any fear in you, or you're hopeful that this is going to be a return?
I think we're going to struggle.
Oh, you do think you're
Yeah,
going
I
to
think
struggle?
we'll struggle, yeah. Draw. That's the best I can hope for, I think.
Really?
Yeah. No, we're going to struggle with this period. Trust me.
So how long is the injury to Bowen and Paquetá?
Paquetá's 2 months. Bowen, I've heard a month, but it could be slightly less.
Is there any way that West Ham dip into the transfer market?
I think everyone's running for their lives, aren't they? Over what's going on. I don't think anyone wants to really do that.
Yeah.
I think they have to. I'll be honest. I think they have to. I mean, when you look at the injuries we've got, and if you look at our bench the other night, it's so thin. It's really thin. It's thinner than Matisse. Do you know what I mean?
Someone click that.
Football's a humbler.
I love you, son. No, but honestly, it's it's so fit. I don't really know how we've got to this position where we're
Sixth.
not. Well, I don't know how we got to sixth, but
You're
no,
in a
I
good
don't know how we
position.
got to the position
the
where
table's a bit mad at the minute.
we can't fill the bench really.
Yeah.
We can't.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
We've barely been able to fill the bench for the last 4 months. Bournemouth against Liverpool. Bournemouth are still, in nice little form, aren't they, at the minute?
Yeah, Dom Solanke and his resurgence this season, and they're in 12th and they're potentially close to the top 10 if they can get a couple of wins together. So you can't ask for much more than that if you're Bournemouth. Especially when they made their managerial change at the start of the season, I was looking at them thinking,
I feared for them.
Well,
yeah.
they had them once,
now Gary O'Neill's doing a great job as well. So
Yeah.
they're both neck and neck
They're
in that
both
table.
winners.
Yeah, they're both doing very well. No one lost out. But for what they're doing right now, I think you have to show them some respect that they could give Liverpool some problems. I watched Liverpool against Fulham. I know they haven't got Salah at the moment, and they've got a couple of players missing in the full-back areas as well.
Yeah, Trent. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah. So Liverpool are not. I don't look at Liverpool and think they're unstoppable. I think they could easily drop points if they're not completely on it from minute one. Against Fulham, it took some time for them to break them down, and the substitutes helped, and then the couple of goals went in. Same against Arsenal. Took them a while to get that win. It wasn't just a 2-0, straight win. So I don't think Liverpool are. Listen, they're worthy of where they are in the league, and they're doing brilliantly. But I don't think they're untouchable. I think this could easily go left.
Especially with no Salah for the next.
Yeah, there's no Salah, there's no Trent. There's some key players missing. I think it's going to take. Nunes stepped up, to be fair, against Fulham. So if he keeps doing that, and Diaz, and there's still players there. But
Iraola's a good manager. He came with a good reputation, and I had them as my sort of tip to surprise teams this season. Wasn't looking that way for a good 10 games, maybe more, but they put together a great run. I think they'll play really well against Liverpool and then lose 3-0. You know what I mean? It'll be one of those where you go, how did that
happen?
Liverpool are so efficient in front of goal.
Yeah, they are. They're also at home as well, Bournemouth. Brighton Wolves is on Monday night. Brighton have been a bit of a mixed bag this season.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time. Let me just get the league table back up. I've got a lot of time for Brighton. They sit 8th, okay, with a game in hand, so win that. Who knows? They could leapfrog West Ham and United potentially across that weekend to get into the top 6. You got to think this is a club that constantly have their best staff, their best players, their best managers taken from them. They always respond. They're in the top 8. They're competitive. They've only lost 5 games as well. So they're picking up
with
points
European football. Don't forget.
With European football,
Yeah.
with the Europa League, where they finished above Ajax and Marseille and Athens as well to get top of their Europa League group. So they've qualified through to that. They managed to skip that round of 32 playoff. They are competing for top 6 again in the Premier League. They're playing some of the best football. They rotate. They give youngsters a chance. I feel like the praise for De Zerbi went so far one way last season that people are almost reining it in, going, "Oh, but are they that good? Is he that they're still doing a phenomenal job this season. They're picking up points in 75% of games they play in the league this season, and they entertain, and they win at Old Trafford 3-1, and they batter Tottenham 4-2, and they, whenever we come up against them, we really struggle. They're just a really good side, a good club, and I've got so much time for them.
I think our expectation of them is obviously so high because of how good they've been.
That's crazy.
Which it is crazy.
It shouldn't be.
It's
It is
phenomenal.
crazy.
It's phenomenal how much and what they
They've
spin
lost key
players.
players.
Caicedo has one full season. He goes for 115 million.
Well, look at Kukarea when he went as well.
Right. I mean, this is all your club's fault,
Basuma.
but it's
It is.
but genuinely and they are good players.
McAllister.
McAllister doing well at Liverpool. Basuma doing well. Ben White's been great for Arsenal. These are really good players, and I just have so much time for Brighton. I really do. I other than the 2 games where we played them, I wish them success. I've got a lot of admiration for the way they do.
I do agree. Right, let's do some predictions for those Premier League games. We'll start with Brighton Wolves, and we'll work backwards. What's your prediction for that one?
Because I like Wolves and I like the job Gary Neal's doing, but I think Brighton might just one of those we turn up days. I'm going to go 3-0 Brighton.
Ooh.
They smashed them 4-0 at Molineux, 4-1 at Molineux, I think, before Wolves got going under O'Neill. But I just think sometimes they turn up and do the business, Brighton. I'm going to back them to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to go 2-0 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton.
I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton as well. Bournemouth Liverpool.
3-0 to Liverpool.
I think this is going to be closer than you'll think. I'm going to go 2-2.
Liverpool fans not happy with what I've said.
They won't be happy with
It
that.
wouldn't surprise me.
We've got injuries.
I'm going to stick with 3-0 Liverpool, but sometimes the score doesn't reflect the whole game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, cover myself. They're going to win, but it's going to be tough.
Sheffield against West Ham. I'll let you go first.
0-0. Or draw.
Wow.
2-1 West Ham.
I'm going to go 1-0 Sheffield.
Oh, saucy.
It's fair, mate. It's fair. It's a fair.
It is actually quite
They
fair.
need these points badly. I think they're going to absolutely come with crazy energy.
Did you say 2-1 Sheffield?
1-0.
1-0 Sheffield. I think it might be that too. Sorry, Nick. When it rains, it pours at West Ham.
God,
It's really weird.
No, I agree, mate. It could
It's
quite
one of those
easily.
where it's like but they're very. I like to use the word spirited under.
They are. That's
Wilder.
the thing.
Like
That's the
they
thing.
just have a go.
Yeah.
And I think that might.
They're going to smell blood as well. So
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's wait and see on that one. Brentford against Forest. Brentford need to start winning.
Toney will be on the bench, I think, for this game. Yeah.
Sorry, Brentford at home.
Yeah.
Brentford are at home.
Have you given yours?
No, I'm going to go 2-2 for this. Yeah. Can't really split these.
Weird form, Brentford, but
Brentford have been odd.
Tony
Yeah.
back.
But I think they
They're
need
not
something.
starting.
No, I want to go.
They've missed him.
I'll go 3-1 Brentford. Big response. I'm going for big wins for teams.
Yeah,
this
you are.
weekend.
I'm going to go 1-0
Yeah, why not?
Brentford.
I'm going to go same as Matisse 2-2, but I'm going to say they're losing the game 2-1. Final
Tony
minutes
comes
and
on,
Tony
scores.
comes on.
Yeah,
scores,
yeah.
scores
Oh,
the
and
equaliser.
gives it a
Yeah.
Bellingham.
Yeah.
Takes his shirt off to unveil an
Yeah.
Arsenal kit.
And then,
Points to the
after,
badge.
then takes
Thanks
that
for the
off.
cheese.
Takes that off. Then there's a Chelsea kit under that. All right, Arsenal against Palace, James.
Look, I went for 3-0 Arsenal, which is pure hopium. It's pure give me a response. It's almost based off not what I've seen recently, but when I've seen Arsenal have bad patches in recent years, and then suddenly it just clicks. We've done that a few times. I remember we played Southampton at home and they're a good side. We just lost at United and Everton. We responded really well. Hopefully the break has done them good. So, pure hope, 3-0.
I'm going to go... I'm going to go 2-1 win.
For Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm going to go warm weather training, clears the mind, focuses the mind.
2-0
I think.
Palace.
No, 4-1 to Arsenal.
Oh, you're pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Right, we're just going to look quickly ahead to next week for the EFL ties. Chelsea are at home to Borough. They have a 1-0 deficit to overturn. Do you
Tough
think you'll
game.
overturn it?
Yeah, I do. Because if I didn't think that, I'd be saying the manager should probably be packing his bags.
I mean, if it doesn't happen.
So, yeah, I believe we can overturn it. I don't think it's going to be necessary. It could be an easier game if we make it. You know, we need to score early. We need to put the foot on the pedal immediately. And if we get an early goal, maybe they might crumble. But
I'm sure you'll get a pen like you do most games.
yeah, well, Cole Palmer will put it away and we'll continue and move on. So
Carrick or Mourinho?
Neither. Why should I have to choose?
I offered you one of two.
Why would I'll take Mourinho then? Why I don't want Carrick.
Carrick or Poch?
I just wanted to know.
Carrick or Poch?
Poch.
Okay, just
It's
asking.
here.
Just asking.
Yeah, I don't know why I said defensive. I'm just
All right,
asking.
stop the questions now.
Mourinho or Steve Bruce?
Oh Jesus.
Tony Mowbray.
Mourinho. Yeah. So we're gonna
Just
we're just
Poch
gonna
or Tony Mowbray?
Respect Steve.
But yeah, no, yeah, I do think we'll get through. I do.
Okay. Anyone else have a prediction on that? What you think?
I think they get through 2-0.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I just think they squeeze through.
So Chelsea will go through, and they'll play Fulham in the final.
No. We can't,
Wow.
we can't be
Now
having
that I would love.
No,
There's
no,
nothing
no.
better
No,
than
no,
good
no,
old-fashioned
no.
West London derby.
That's my
No one
prediction.
actually cares about the West London derby.
Everybody
It's not even
loves
a
it.
derby.
Everybody loves it.
It's not
One of
even
the
a derby.
fiercest
William
It was
friendships in the
storyline.
Premier League.
The storyline of
Pathetic.
William coming back.
Yeah, we can't be having that. We can't be having that.
Unbelievable.
Look, I think that you probably will overturn it, but please God for a birthday miracle. Borough go
So
through.
no one thinks Fulham can do it.
Against Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Fulham played really well against Liverpool.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know
did.
why
They always
they shouldn't be written
play
off.
well at Anfield, like almost their last 5 trips there.
But now they're at home.
No.
They take it to Craven Cottage. Why not?
I can't have Fulham in the final with Chelsea. This
I just
year.
don't
Well,
think they
that's
will.
bad news for me.
Why
if
is that bad
happens.
news for you?
Because there's no way that.
Well, it's bad
that
news for
Fulham
her for
don't
sure.
beat Chelsea.
Because if we win the trophy, she's finished.
Oh, I see. So you're
I'm
trying
finished
to.
out here.
So
Genuinely finished.
she's basically just preying on your downfall.
Yeah,
Like she
pretty
is
much.
yours. That's why she said 1-1 against Palace. She doesn't believe
Yeah,
that.
you're a hater.
I do actually.
She's a hater.
I do believe it.
No, you
Why
don't.
do good things
No, you
for
don't.
us?
I do believe
Put
it.
money on it then.
Maybe I do. What I
I
do,
think- I
I
think-
bet it.
I think Fulham can do it.
Maybe I do.
I think Fulham can do it.
I definitely.
I would
think
love
Fulham,
it if they did.
I definitely think Fulham go through. Do
Do you know what would be hilarious?
Fulham
It wouldn't be
don't go
funny
through,
for
I
me,
think
but if
Liverpool.
Middlesbrough and Fulham made it to
Liverpool?
the final, that would be funny.
Liverpool all the way.
Liverpool all
No, they're
the
at home to Liverpool.
Doesn't matter.
So?
2-1. They nearly got something from that game.
Liverpool.
They've
win.
come out of
But
2
nearly.
defeats at Anfield, having played really well
Yeah.
at both, and I don't think Liverpool have won at Craven Cottage their last 2 trips.
Well, they didn't do anything against Chelsea the other day.
Who?
Fulham.
Yeah. But
No one
we
did
got a
anything in that
We got a
game.
good record against them.
But
True.
I don't know.
Still Liverpool all the way on that.
Okay.
Fulham Borough final, says Spurs for life. Yeah, why not?
It'd be funny.
Yeah, that would be
That
fun.
would be
funny,
good.
wouldn't
That
yeah.
would be
It'd
absolutely
be very
fine by
awkward
me.
for me and AGT.
That it would be, but that'd
Very
be
awkward
very,
situation.
very lovely.
I would
if
tune
that
into your
happened.
watch along
And
for
I'd
that.
be,
That'd be unreal.
I'd be so
I'd be-
here for that.
yeah,
Fulham
that'd be
Borough
good.
final. Guys, we have got AFCON as well. We've got a live watch along today from 4:30. It's Ivory Coast against Nigeria, Egypt versus Ghana. That's at 8 o'clock, and Ivory Coast Nigeria is at 5 o'clock. Has anyone been watching AFCON?
I'll be watching a Gala game for certain.
No, I haven't been watching. This is my first 2 games I'm going to watch now because I wanted to wait for the big named
big games.
fixtures. Yeah, with the animosity between Nigeria
Plastic,
and Ghana
you
on
are.
the same day.
Plastic.
Proper
to see.
plastic.
But nah, listen, there's been some shocks that I didn't expect. I did not expect.
I watched the Mozambique game the other day.
Yeah.
I can't remember who they played, but the commentary on it was just unreal. I loved it.
I didn't expect Nigeria to drop points. I didn't expect Ghana to be dropping points. I didn't expect any of this. When I
it's
looked
been a
at
bit
the
of a
groups,
shocking opening round,
It's been
hasn't it?
very
Yeah.
shocking for some big nations. Obviously, Senegal, Morocco taking care of business. So let's see if they step it up now, second round. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll see.
And of course, Best of Enemies content is dropping today at 3 o'clock UK time from Qatar with Robbie and Expressions while they're living up in the sunshine. I can't wait to see what's on Best of Enemies. Honestly, the pair of them. Looks like they've been clubbing every night.
Have you seen their stories?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen
The
it.
Expressions try to steal Robbie's watch.
Oh no, I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that actually.
No, I haven't seen that one, but I've seen them out every night living their best life.
It's all right for some.
I know it is all right for some. They will be back on Monday, though. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Nicky, James, Matisse. Been
Thanks
lovely
for
to see you all. We will be back on Monday with our weekend roundup as usual. And let's see what happens this weekend. Will Arsenal have one win in 8? Fingers crossed. See you later, guys.